Hello friends and a warm welcome. My name is Hasara and I'm so happy that you're joining me for a little craft session. How have you all been? I hope you've been all well during this Christmas season. So far we have been working on our Christmas at the Manor journaling kit, and we have set up our signatures. We have explored and worked with our freebie. We also have completed our front journal cover. And today we will be adding the envelopes that come with this kit. And there are so many different ways you can use envelopes. This is a little coin envelope. We have little surprise envelopes that are able to carry some surprises for you. Another little surprise envelope. We have ribbon closures right here with tons of hidden pockets and little secret hiding spots for notes or pictures. We have a little envelope closure here. With some more writing spots as well. So we are going to have some fun. Let's get into it. I'm uploading every Tuesday and Friday, and if you follow me along, by the end of this video series, you will have a complete journal made. I will put all of the videos into a playlist for you so that you can go back easily. So make sure to like and subscribe to make sure to get a notification when the next video comes out in this series. Everything I'm using will be listed in the description box below. So today we will be using our envelopes that come with the kit, with the Christmas at the Manor kit. And so we will have all sorts of different shapes and sizes of envelopes that we will be using. I also went ahead and folded all of our signatures together, and each of the signatures will get an envelope, at least one. So when we look here at the first signature, I chose to use this as the front image of the signature. And let's just go through it again. I did change some of the pages around a little bit, and this is the benefit of not sewing our signatures in at the beginning of the journal making. I like to keep my pages loose so that I can make last minute changes when I notice that something might work better in a different spot, so I can easily change things around. So for this one here, we'll have this one as the first page. This is the back side of it. This is the next page, and this is the back side of it. That is the next page of this one. That's the back side of this. And we have this page. That's the back side. Then we have this page here. And that's the back side. Then I went ahead and folded it together. And I used my bone folder to smooth out the edges. Then what happens oftentimes when we fold over a signature, these edges here are starting to come out because of the fold that happens. So what I did was I used a ruler, and it's really easier with this technique. I have not found a way with the guillotine cutter to make it really straight. So what I do is I take a ruler, and then I take a cutting knife like this one, and I just kept going like so. We'll do this with the next signature together, and then you'll see. All right, now let's move on to our first envelope here. This is a pretty large envelope. It has a beautiful image here. And so what I will do here is to score the edges, and then we'll make a little bit of a flip out of this. Usually when you buy scoreboards, they do not come with these lines, and some of them don't have the numbers very easily to read. So I took a pen and I simply made these lines. It's a little bit easier to find your line. All right, so let's first make our envelope here. So I fold over the sides and fold over this side here. And then I use the bone folder to make the edges nice, to crease the edges. I also inked around the edges with the Holtz Distressing Oxide in Vintage Photo. All right, so let's also, I want to put a little notch in here because we are going to use this as a little flip out of the page. So before gluing, it's very important to make this notch first. And so for that, I simply take a hole punch and I make a little notch in the center. And there we have a little nudge. Because when we then stick some things in there, we want to make sure that we're able to get it out. And for those little nudge cutouts, I like to use these domed Dobbers. It's so much easier to get around the curve with these than with the straight edge here. So these are great for the straight lines, and then for the curved angle, I like to use the domed Dobber. All right, let's get gluing here. I'm using the Barely Art glue because it's just paper. So have you guys been busy with any Christmas preparations and plenty of crafting? This is such an easy make, really, to just cut them out, ink them up, and of course use them for Christmas cards or maybe gift certificates, or in this case, in your journal. All right, so now we'll glue down the edges. On the back of this envelope, I printed a page from the tea and coffee stained papers for my kit. All right, so here's your envelope. It's very pretty. And now we're looking here in our signature for a good spot to place this. And I think I want to put it here, right here on the top. So then it basically will wrap around like so as a little flip out. And this is where you can put your little gifts in here. So I noticed that this is a little tight here. So I'm going to go ahead and make the fold a little bit larger. seems to buckle a little bit, and we don't want that. It's also nice to have a little bit of a space as it wraps around the page itself, so I think that might be a little bit easier. So now we have a nice little space created. Let's fold that over on the new. All right, let's try this again. All right, perfect. So now it easily folds out, and I'm putting this here on the top because on the other side here, I don't want to go too much over this little design here. So let's put some glue on. Perfect. So this is what it looks like on one side, and this is how it will look on the other side. All right, perfect. And so now we can add some ephemera. So this is where I store all of the ephemera and all of the cutouts for the, like, this is where all the envelopes were. And it's easy for me to find everything, actually. Also in the bottom of this, there are all the scraps, the little leftovers from cutting everything out. So this will then make it easy to find these, to use them. I'd like to have them where I'm working, so that way I keep remembering to use my scraps. So that's really important. So as ephemera, I'm using one of these beautiful postcards that are in the kit. So we have all these different colors. Let's see which one will go nicely with this. And also on the back side, I printed some lined papers from my lined papers kit. So that is easier than to make notes and write on it. So let's see what we are going to use. I think I want to use this green one here. So what I want to do here is I want to put a little tab on it from the Christmas at the Manor kit. So let's see what would go nicely here. Since we're going with the green theme, maybe a green one. These are the branches, or we have here That's maybe too busy. These are the little containers that are also so useful to for little tabs that we can use. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this green one here. That seems to work very well. So this is our first envelope with a little tab to pull out easily. There we go. A little card. Perfect. So this is already the first envelope done. This is for signature 1. Now we're going to the next signature here. I prepared everything for this little project. So here you can see that the edges are kind of sticking out because all I did was I simply put the signatures together and I folded them like so, and now we have these papers hanging over. And I like to do this in the beginning before decorating everything. Now sometimes I don't cut them, it doesn't matter. I won't let it bother me because I would put other things on the edges, but this particular one will clean it up. So go in with a light touch when you go and make the lines. There's no need to press down hard just because there are a few pages here. Simply keep going gently so that it is a nice clean edge. So usually if I would put a lot of lace on the journal, then it really wouldn't matter. Then I just have no problem with the pages sticking out because it will be covered by lace. This particular look, I just wanted to put less lace on the outside and on the edges here, so it was more important to me that it looks clean. Always put the blade back. Very important. So I got my goodies all assembled here. For the next variation of envelopes, I wanted to introduce some little variations for each envelope project. And yeah, it looks like I found my page already here. So we're gonna put the next envelope project on the second page here on this. So I'm going to take this out again to make it easier on myself. So what we'll need for this particular envelope is this little envelope with the stockings here. Again, I cut out the edges and I inked them here. And so this time we'll put we'll make a little writing space in the middle here, and we'll have a nice closure. So you will need some sort of string. I found some embroidery yarn that I like to use. And then I also have collected some of the scraps. So these are the cut-offs from the ephemera where I printed the lined pages on the back. These are also some scraps from the other ones that I cut out. So these are the lacy scraps and these are the lined scraps that you will need. And I actually have 4 of these. So if you are cutting everything out the way I did, you will have these type of scraps. And now we'll want to make sure to fold everything over. The flaps on the sides. So much easier to fold when you have the little bone folder. Here the little flaps go over. And this here. And again, you can use this size of the envelope, maybe for little gift cards on for Christmas if you like. It's very pretty just the way it is. But we will do something a little bit differently. The first thing I want to do is actually to put the closure on, because in the back of this particular closure there will be another little cover. So I want to do this first. So let's begin by using a small circle punch. And we will need 4 of these circles. All right. Perfect. You'll also need these small little closures that you can see here. And I like to use the flathead ones. There are different variations of it, but I am trying to use a really small size. There are even smaller ones available, but in this case I only I have these, but they are still small enough, I feel. So I like to use a bit of foam with some packaging of something, and I'm using here this little owl tool, bookbinding owl, or something else that you can pierce this with and make it nice and big. And so here we go too with the center. This way it's safer, I feel. All right, beautiful. And now that we have the holes here, it's easier to mark the spot where this goes. So we have marked this here, and we'll mark this here. All right. Okay, here's the mark for the one. Beautiful. So we have the holes here. Also, before we put them down, let's first ink around these, the ones with the holes. Those are the ones that we will see. And then we just use this fastener here. And put them through like so. And then we're opening them. And we want to make sure that this is not too closely closed, because we want to be able to wrap the string around it. So this is one, and then we simply use another of these fasteners here. Perfect. Put them through here. So let's take a little test drive before we glue the backs on them. So let's take a piece of string here. So maybe 3 times the length, depends how many times you want to wrap it around. And I thought the green goes really well with this theme. All right, so now on the top here, let's make a little knot here. So I'm going to tie a knot on the first closure here. Let's make a double knot just to make sure. Okay, I'm going to cut the end of here. And so then we simply wrap it around here. Okay, it looks like the fasteners are very good. Yeah, so this is pretty long. I don't think I need it that long, but yeah, perhaps that's enough. So I'm going to cut this part. So let's open this up again, because we're not closing it at the moment. So now we have these pretty loose sticking out here, and yeah, we don't want that. So now we are going to cover this with these. And I just noticed that actually these circles are too small for these brackets. So guess what? I'm gonna have to make 2 more with a larger size, and that's okay. Because I love them so much, so I have here, guess what, another little plastic box or container for the lacy background scraps. And so now we have a bigger one. Let's get a bigger hole punch. All right, so this is the next size up that I have, and so that's what we're gonna work with. Okay, get this. Let's see how that fits. Yeah, that covers it. Perfect. All right, let's do another one. Beautiful. And these two are really sweet, and I love to have these little circles for other decorations. So I'll put them in my box with the little tabs. I'm just gonna ink them real quick so that way they're ready to go. One and two. So this is the creative part really in junk journaling that I love so much, that oftentimes these little mistakes, they cause more creativity, they cause another inspiration, something else is going to happen. And so mistakes are really not a big deal, and that's such a relief, and that is the relaxing aspect of junk journaling, really. You really can't mess it up. And if you do, it's not the end of the world at all. So yeah, so here we are. And so this time the circles are not inked because actually this one we'll see. So yeah, I'm gonna ink that one. All right, let's do that. Let's ink that one. Yeah. And while I'm here. Okay, so let's put these fasteners away. Brads. Finally, I remember the word. Okay, so if you want to purchase these on Amazon, they're called brads. Brads, I like to call them fasteners, but these are brads. So if you want to look them up and find them, I can also link some below. All right, here we go. Let's do it. All right, so again, it's a small piece that I like to hold with my tweezers. Makes things a lot easier, and my fingers don't get glued on. All right, here we go. And I like to go as far up as I can here. I still might have to make a little adjustment here. Let's see. Oh, that's okay. I can still fold it over. All right, so but you see here, it's nicely covered and you don't see the bread. So glad I remember the word again. Yeah, that's that age. When words all of a sudden leave the mind, just to return at another time. Thankfully, this time it chose to come back when I actually needed the word. Does it happen to you sometimes? All of a sudden you forget names or things that you always knew. And then they're gone. And then they come back. Yeah. Just have to see the humor in it, and just don't push against it. I used to push against this little memory lapse. And I'm told that this is a phase and the memory comes back. So I can't wait. So thank you for understanding if sometimes the word disappears for a second and then it'll come back, and I make sure that when it does come back to say it. So these are the brads, and I will make sure to link them below. Right, so this is it. And so now I notice that these flaps on the side are actually unnecessary. So I'm going to cut these. This is going to be a little hidden writing space for little keepsaking or mementos of your Christmas celebrations. You can put little pictures in these, or in this case I'm going to add some lined paper here, and we'll decorate it a little bit. All right, so here I'm going to put a little space for notes. So I'm gonna just mark this because we definitely want to cover this part. Okay. Beautiful. All right, so now we have a couple of writing spots. As I said, you can also put some photos in this spot. You can leave it blank and have some pictures that you want to put in there. And as this is so blank here, we have a nice spot here. Let's look at our fuzzy cuts, what we can use for decorations. Can put a little little candlesticks here. So that's one. I have some holly here. I have a whole box of washi tape, and that's just the beginning. Let's look for a really festive one. That's the right one. So any kind of tape or cutoffs or scraps, you can also use scraps, of course, to put on these sides. But here we are. So, yes. That will go lovely. Okay, so we have this here. Now, washi tape is not very sticky. It's kind of like a masking tape, if you will. And I found that it is better to glue on the washi tape because eventually it'll come off. So just a little bit of glue will help to keep the washi tape where it needs to be. Okay, and another one here. Beautiful. So we put some And that elevates any project right away. When washi tape is stored for a while, I noticed that it is also less sticky. So it is quite helpful to make sure that we have some glue to help it along. Okay. So this looks very nice already. And let's put on the little fuzzy cuts that we have as well. These are the candlesticks from the kit. All right. And we have here some holly. Or is it mistletoe? Don't know the difference. Here we go. Et voila. All right, so we have a little nice writing space made. In hindsight, this particular circle was unnecessary because we have this one going over, but I just like to be in the moment, and sometimes things work out differently. Let's see, that we maybe put this here on this side. Yeah, that will go nicely here. So with the Barely Art Glue, you have that a couple seconds to adjust, but after that, it is stuck on. After that, it's stuck on, so can't move it again. But you see how quickly this became a very neat little envelope. All right, so now let's put that on here. Let's close it. There you go. You have a nice little envelope for here. And so let's stick this on here. All right. There we go. So this is envelope number 2. Beautiful. And our second signature. So as you follow along in the journal, if you want to, of course, the second signature is laid out like this. So we have this nice page here on the outside of our signature, as you can see. And then we have this on the back. We have this as the next page with the little envelope that we just made. And here we have the friends gathering around the fireplace. And we have this background page and this writing page. And we have this background page and this writing page. This journal can be used also to make little preparation lists, what to buy, what kind of recipes you're going to use for the celebrations, and who to invite, and all these kind of little notes. I figured for the Christmas journal, it requires a little bit more writing space, so I made plenty of writing pages for you. The last page of this signature is this background page and this front page here, where the guests will have a nice Christmas dinner. So this is the signature number 2. So now I want to make sure that these edges here are straight again. So now that we have cut the edges, we can now make a nice little envelope project. And so I've taken this envelope from the kit, and most of you might know already what to do with these, but I will show you. But for those of you who are new, I will show you, of course, how to use these. So we are going to score the sides. So we have scored all 4 sides. And now we'll fold them all over. I wanted to keep this envelope kind of loose because this image is so beautiful. I didn't want to glue it down in the journal. But here's what you would do. So you start with one side, fold over the next, so you start with one side, fold over the next, fold over the next, and fold over the next, and the last one is the one that you want to then put one side here. So the last one, you want to put one side here on the side, and now your envelope is closed like so, and when you open it, it opens like so. All right, so let's see, maybe we'll put a little goodie in here. Of course, you can use this as a gift envelope, and you can use it to gift, put a little gift in there for Christmas, if you like. I just put some little goodies in here. I love these little stars. And we have some more holly here. And again, you can use any little thing that you would like to add in here. All right, so let's close it up. But it's a nice surprise that if you give this journal to somebody, or in general you make gifts like this, it's always nice to have little surprises in a journal. Before we glue this down, I wanted to go over the pages of the third signature. So we have the little gingerbread cookies on the outside. More writing pages. We have the little snowflakes on this side. More writing space. We have the lacy background here. And we have the gifts and the stockings. More gingerbread cookies and more writing space. We have the reindeer and more writing pages. And then we have this background page here and the hot chocolate, coffee or tea, and the little wallpaper. All right, so let's decide where we are going to put this little surprise. And I think the theme here with the lacy background and the envelope here, I think would go best. I thought at first to put it here with the gingerbread cookies, but somehow the themes don't quite go together. So let's glue it on here. And we'll put a little outside glue for the pocket, only on 3 sides. I like to put a thumb where I don't want to put glue, so that helps me to remember not to glue the wrong side. Okay, so this is how we do this here. And all right, now we'll... When gluing down pockets, you don't want to move it around too much. Otherwise, you put too much, there's too much glue on the inside of the pocket. I mean, this is a small item, so it doesn't really make a big difference here. But for other pockets, you definitely want to make sure not to wiggle this glue around for too much. So we're gonna let this set a little bit. Again, we have these little goodies. We have these little goodies in here, a little star, little holly. Yeah. And then here the little house. So that way you can look at it from all sides. So this is a little bit three-dimensional, as you can see. So as you close it, you will notice that it closes best when it's a little bit more on the three-dimensional side. All right, so now we'll stick that in. Beautiful. All right, yes. So I kind of like this little lamp post from the Fuzzy Cuts because it so goes with the theme of it. So I want to make it a little bit more elaborate. And so originally I used the bundled sage for inking some of these because we have all these green themed Fuzzy Cuts, but I kind of want to change that, and so all I'm going to do is simply go over it with the vintage photo. It's just going to look better this way. Okay. There we go. It's going to blend in a little bit nicer. All right. There we go. So let's stick that on. And Let's put a little holly piece there. Again, I want to correct that to make it You could also, of course, wait with inking everything, but I was just on a roll, so I inked everything. But that's easily fixed. There we go. All right, beautiful. Pocket with a bit of a surprise. So, signature 3 has now also an envelope. Now we're moving on to the last signature of this journal, signature number 4. And this is how the pages are laid out. We have in the center the ballroom scene, the ballroom and the refreshment area, gingerbread cookies on the back. Guests are going for a winter walk. We got the pine twigs on the back here. Some writing space here. More branches. More winter walks. Got the reindeer. More writing space. And this as the background page. All right. So now we are going to correct the edges here as well. Beautiful. So, what kind of envelope are we going to use for this signature? We are going to use this envelope here. Again, of course, you can use this envelope as an envelope for gift cards or anything else for Christmas, for any correspondence. I put little sticky notes and everything, so I remember. So this particular envelope, I wanted to do a little bit of a pocket design. So I went ahead and scored along the lines. I'm going to just crease the sides real quick to make sure. Okay. So this is going to be a nice little ephemera holder. And so what I want to do here is to place this pocket here. This pocket goes here. So I pulled out some ephemera and I wanted to just see. So this here, this is one of the tab ephemera pieces, but I wanted to just use this here. Now, this here will have this little side pocket, and I wanted to just, let's put a little nudge in here. It's gonna be a little pull out. Okay. So there will be a pocket here. Pocket, 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 pocket. Lots of pockets. So I'm going to put a little nudge here as well. Just a small one because the image is so pretty there. So we'll use this. And also what I wanted to do on the sides even to put little pockets as well. So it's very ambitious. So I'm gonna just go ahead and fold this in half. All right, so we have some here on this side and here on this side. And then this one here, we're gonna have to cut the top because it is too long. So I'm gonna just fold this here. So this is one that can be filled with a lot of different ephemera. It could be a little game for kids too. If you have a little gift card, for example, for them, and they would have to look through all of these pockets to find the gift card. That would be maybe something for younger kids. All right, so now this fits. And we're gonna put another little nudge in here. I'm going to eyeball these because it's really so easy to do. Okay. Ink, 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 ink. Same here, ink, 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 ink. And of course, this could be also a great memory keeper, really, for memories that you want to treasure. So let's start gluing in the pockets here. Again, no glue where the notch is, so the thumb goes right here. So this is upside down, yes, make sure. Pocket number 1 is secured. So I didn't put any glue here on these angled sides, just to make sure when I put something in there that it wouldn't get lost. Now, for these side ones, I want to put the nudge on this side and on this side, so it's easier to get things out. So let's put the little nudge here. And so make sure not to put it too close to the fold of this flap. And we have a little corner here sticking out, and I will make sure to cut that off, of course. So, but I'm gonna let the glue sit first. So then we go ahead and glue this side on. Again, pay attention to the fold so it wouldn't get in the way of that. that this is set, I'm gonna cut this off here. Okay. Okay, beautiful. So we have this. Now we have 3 pockets already where you can hide little things. And this is the big pocket here. So again, thumb or finger where no glue goes. The glue-free zone is where the thumb is. All right. There we go. All right, last pocket. Thumb goes where the glue-free zone is. Glue-free zone is here. And we try to be all right. All right, beautiful. And so now we can put little things into these spaces, and you can, let's say, you can hide little images on the back here, little photos also as a secret little hiding spot. Okay, so we have this here, but I like to put a little tab here. When I have the feeling that it is a little bit too tricky to pull it out. And that's where our little tabs come in to, that we have also in the kit, of course. So we have these little tabs. So let's just put this one on here. It's especially in those little tighter or longer pockets, I noticed. That's when the tabs come in really handy. And here, there we go. Quick and easy. All right. Okay. So this secret little memory keeper goes here. You can put a little photo in there, like I said, or a little note, little secret note. Beautiful. What else could we stick on? Does that fit? That's too big. We're going to be using that. We have this here. I can go in here. Yep. And then we have, it's too big, so we're going to put this on the side here. Again, you can put little notes, little reminders, little secrets in here. Little secrets in here. So I put a little coin here. All right. So now this is filled. And what we can do now is, how do we close the envelope now? So I thought we could put a little ribbon around it and then close it like so and put that in the journal like such. So let's first see how much ribbon do we need. So here's a little trick I found. So who has three hands really, right? So we would need a third person to be able to tie this, right? You can either go like this, but this might be actually quite useful even when you're wrapping gifts, okay? So I was able to just wing it and it's fairly loose. But if you prefer a tighter bow, this is what I got. A reverse tweezer. So that means when you let go, it holds it together. So I'll show you how that works. I got so excited when I saw this for the first time. Oh my God, lifesaver. So now you pinch it together, right? You pinch it together like so. And all you do now is just put it in here and you have your hands free. The tweezers holding your bow, and now you can go wrap your gifts. Beautiful. All right, it looks like I have plenty of ribbon, so I think this should be about right. Nice. So this is from the same ribbon that I used in our journal cover here, as you can see. So this is the same ribbon. I have that linked below. And also what I like to do for the little ends of the ribbons, and you might do that already and you might know that, I like to fold it in half and then just cut it like so, so that there's a nice pretty finish on the ribbon. There we go. So when I was a teenager, in the Christmas season, we had a store in Europe that was similar to Sephora, and they would hire us to gift wrap all the purchases. So that was great. And I was able to learn a lot of tricks. All right, so I, as you have seen, I just put my finger where the ribbon starts. So that way I know. Now I'm gonna put the envelope like so. Oh, I love eyeballing things if I can. Of course, sometimes things have to be measured. So now I'm going to attach this ribbon on the back side of the envelope. Right, let's go for the middle here. Go for the middle. Press the envelope down, right? All right, beautiful. So now you can see this ribbon is now glued on, and this will then be put into the journal. So I'm going to close this up before I glue it down. That will make it easier. I could use my reverse tweezers right now, but it's not that important now, really. So. All right, here we go. Beautiful. Put a little bit of color in here. So there you have your gift. All right. Close the glue bottle. So let's find a nice spot in our last signature here for our envelope. That might be a nice one. That might be nice. That is a nice contrast, but I need to figure out something for here, so I'm not gonna use this. let's go with this. So in your fourth signature, you have this page, and then you have this page with a couple going on a afternoon walk, on a little winter walk. So let's put some glue here. And by the end of this video, we will have used all of the envelopes. So let's put a little bit more glue here. So we have 3 more envelopes left, and I will show you a couple of little tricks for that as well. All right, so now let's glue this in. Ah, beautiful. There you have it. All right, and this envelope again is full with surprises and little cards that you have. All right, signature 4. So let's move on now to the remaining envelopes that we have here. And so I wanted to show you what we can do with each of them. So the ones we have left is this one here, and then we have this envelope left. We have this envelope left, sorry. And then we have this envelope left. All right, let's finish them up. So these are really easy to finish. I'm gonna go ahead and score all of them real quick, so that way we are ready to mass make some envelopes. A little mini mass make. And you also notice that I have picked a couple of fuzzy cuts here, and I also found one of the seals I made, and perhaps one day I'll make a little video in how to make these nice little seals, these wax seals. All right, let's score everything. All right, so all of the envelopes are scored on the lines. So let's do our little one first. And you already know how to finish this one, right? So I folded in all of the sides. So we fold one side, the next side over, the next side over, and here the last one goes on one side under here, and this side stays open. That's one already done. So we finished that one off, and that can be easily used again as a little decorative piece, or can be used to give to somebody. Now we're going on to the next envelope here. Let's fold in the sides. Fold in the sides. Fold in the sides. So this one is a long envelope here. And the top has here this closure. So this is like a little coin envelope perhaps. So let's put glue on one side here. So we'll put a little bit of glue on this side here, and then along this side. So there's one flap is longer than the other, so you have this little overlap here. So this will close this coin envelope, I would say. That's what it's probably intended for. And I like to close these with a little piece of ephemera here. So we have this one here. So what I like to do here for this closure fuzzy cut, so we're only gluing the bottom part of this fuzzy cut. So only this portion will have glue. Like so. And that makes a cute little coin envelope, and you can then easily close the envelope like so. Wow, how adorable is this? Yes. So that's our second envelope done. Can you see how quickly these can be made? I just love it. All right, this is a nice little mid-size envelope now. It's this here with the house. All right, and then we have the flap here. So when we close these envelopes, it's really important that they don't buckle as much. So I like to adjust the fold sometimes just to make sure it doesn't buckle. All right. Glue on the sides. Glue on the sides here. Beautiful. And put this down. So a little card can go in here. If you wanted to, you can also punch out a little notch here. So we're gonna do another closure. Let's see. I think I'm gonna use this star this time. So again, you wanna make sure that the closure has enough to grab on. So when we use these fuzzy cuts, it's really important to make sure that there is enough for it to stay closed. So we're gonna go with about half again. And again, make sure not to have too much. So we'll put the fuzzy cut down, but this time I'm going to let this dry first, because with this little overlap here, I want to make sure that the glue does not stick too much. And let's just make sure here. It's a nice opening. All right. And here we go. Our third envelope is ready. Now we'll put the last one together here. So this one will have a little wax seal, and I found these stickers here that will make sure that the seal actually holds. This is a very special glue that is on these stickers because the wax usually wouldn't hold any other glue. So you can, oh boy. So I cut this in half so that again it only overlaps a little bit, so it's kind of like a faux wax seal closure. And yeah, and so then you simply peel it off so you can see the sticker. It's a very particular adhesive that is being used for this. So let's make sure. All right, beautiful. So here we have another closure technique for our envelopes. Nice real wax seal, and I can maybe make another video to show you how to do these wax seals. They're a lot of fun to do. All right, so there we have it. Our envelopes. All right, I hope you enjoyed this little mask make session of all the envelopes that come with the kit. This was so much fun, and these envelopes can be used in so many different ways. Thank you for staying with me during this video and having fun with all of the different closure techniques and different ways of utilizing the envelopes techniques. All right, I'll see you at the next video where we will continue to work on our Christmas journal. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all at the next video. Much love. Bye.